All right, so we've been finding linear functions from a graph. Now we're going to find it from a table. We're going to see that today. All right, so we got to remind ourselves how to find the slope. So let's do that. All right, so to find the slope, you subtract your y coordinates, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. This gets the rise, this gets the run. So we have 8 minus 2, which is 6. We have 2 minus 6 on the bottom, which is negative 4. We can't leave it that way. We got to simplify that to negative 3/2, right? We don't need the negative sign on the bottom. Next one, right, you subtract your y. So I'm going to do 5 minus negative 3, which is 5 plus 3, 8. Since I started with the 5, I must start with the negative 2. Negative 2 minus negative 1, same as negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. This is negative 8. Okay, here, find the y-intercepts from the table. Well, where is the y-intercept? It's got to be the one with x equal to 0. That's the y-intercept. Okay, so these were some sample points from a linear function. And so where's the other y-intercept? Right there, right? It's the point 0, negative 1. That means that line crosses the y-axis at 0, negative 1. If it starts with 0 and it's part of a line, it has to be part of a line, then it's a y-intercept. All right, so we're going to learn how to find out, just by looking at this table, that the equation that made that table, if I tell you those are 5 points from a linear function, that the slope must have been 2 and the y-intercept must have been 0, negative 3. Hopefully you see the y-intercept right there. But notice what's going on here. As I go up 1, I'm going up 2 here. Negative 3 didn't, right? I'm going up 2. You can see it clearly when you go from 3 to 5. So if you're going up 2, well, y goes up 2, as x goes up 1, guess what the slope is? It's 2. There it is. And I'll go over all that again. All right, so I want you to find the slope of the linear function. Now to find the slope of the linear function, you can pick any points, right? Because we're going to subtract some y coordinates and then we're going to subtract some x coordinates. So let's pick these two just to pick them. So we could do 8 minus 4 for the y coordinates. Since I started with this 8, I got to start with this 2. 2 minus 1 for the x coordinates. I get 4 over 1. The slope of that is 4. Could I have done it elsewhere? It probably would have been even easier to do it right there, right? I would have done 4 minus 0 over 1 minus 0, which is also 4. But it's also right here, right? 16 minus 12 is 4, and 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay, you can do it anywhere with any 2 points today. Right, same thing here, right? I think most people will tick that. So 7 minus 3 on the top for the y coordinates, right? Y is up top. 3 minus 1 on the bottom, and you get 4 over 2. The slope here is 2. All right. Now, this is something tricky. On all horizontal tables, x is on top. Remember, when we're doing slope, y has to go on top. So let's say, and now you can avoid negatives if you want, so maybe you want to pick there. So if you want to subtract your y's, it would be 3 minus 1. Now, since I started with this 3, I got to start with this 0. 0 minus 1, this one right there. And so you get 3 minus 1 is 2, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. The slope here is negative 2. Okay? And again, you could do it anywhere. So if you want to avoid the negatives, you're allowed. All right, now we want to take that to the next level and find the linear function. So let's see what it says here. It says find the slope, y-intercept, and linear function from the table. All right, so the slope. Let's avoid the negatives up at the top and do 5 minus 3 over 4 minus 3, which is 2 over 1. The slope is 2. All right, now look at the table. What's the y-intercept? It's the thing where x equals 0. So if we know the slope and the y-intercept, can we write a linear function? Sure we can. Y equals 2x minus 3. All right, so the equation that made this table was y equals 2x minus 3. Let's make sure we understand that. Right? 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 3, negative 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 3, negative 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 3 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3 is 3, 2 times 4 is 8, minus 3 is 5. This is the equation that made these sample points. These aren't all the points, these are a few sample points on the linear function. Let's try it again. Let's find the slope. All right, I'm going to do 16 minus 10. If I do that, though, I got to do negative 4 minus negative 2. So I get 6 on the top, negative 4 plus 2 on the bottom, which is negative 2. I get a slope of negative 3. What's the y-intercept? There it is, 0, 4. So what equation must have made this? Y equals negative 3x plus 4. That made every single one of those 5 combinations. Okay. Horizontal table. Remember they're upside down, right? So we have to make sure we do the y's up top. I'm going to pick right here. So the y's go for on top. 3 minus 2. Since I did 3 minus 2, I got to do 0 minus 2 on the bottom. 3 minus 2 is 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. We don't leave that negative down there. The slope is negative 1/2. What's the y-intercept? It's where x equals 0, 0, 3. So what's the slope? Well, what's the function? Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. By the way, make sure some people forget the x, right? It's y equals mx, right? This is the form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, now here you just have 2 points. Is it harder? Not really, but you have no choice, right? To find the slope, you're going to have to use the point that's there. So 3 minus negative 5. Since I started with 3, I have to do 4 minus 0. 3 minus negative 5, same as 3 plus 5, 8. 4 minus 0 is 4. The slope is 2. Is that the y-intercept, though, right there? Sure is. So it's y equals 2x minus 5 that made those 2 points. There's only one line. Let me make sure you understand this. There's only one line that goes through 0, negative 5, and 4, 3. And that line has a y-intercept of 0, negative 5, and a slope of 2. All right, there is no other line that goes through those 2 points. It's the only one. All right, let's do this again. So we're going to subtract our y's. I'm going to do 6 minus 8, which is negative 2. Then I have to do 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive, so the slope is 2/3. And there's the y-intercept, so it's y equals 2/3 x plus 6. That is the only line that goes through both those points. All right, so now you're going to draw a sketch after you do this. All right, so right there's your y-intercept, 0, 5. Now we got to get our slope. Let's avoid the negatives, make our life easy. 7 minus 6 over 2 minus 1. Oh my goodness, it's 1 over 1. The slope is 1. Okay, so we're starting at 0, 5 and slope of 1. This is the technique we learned the other day, right? And then our line will look like this. Okay. So what made this table was, I have to write the function. The slope was 1, the y-intercept was 0, 5, so it's y equals x plus 5, right? Now is that what made all these combinations? Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. 0 plus 5 is obviously 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 plus 5 is 7. Yeah, that's what made that. Now that we know that, right, those are sample points. If I tell you x is 100, y must be 105, and that's somewhere way over there. All right. If I tell you x is a half, y is 5 plus a half, 5 and a half. That is actually, let me just put that, x is a half, that's halfway to 1, will be there at 1/2, 5 and a half. Now we avoid these fraction points, but they exist. Please know that. Okay, horizontal table. So, all right, I'll just pick these. 8 minus 4, right? It has to be y's on top for the rise. Rise goes there. So then I must do negative 4 minus negative 2 on the bottom. So we get 4 on the top. Negative 4 minus negative 2 is negative 4 plus 2, negative 2. That is a slope of negative 2. What's the y-intercept? 0, 0. So we're going to do 0, 0 and a slope of negative 2. You remember, if you're having trouble, draw your ramp. Right? What does a negative 2 slope look like? Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And you're drawing a little sketch like that. Please use a straight edge, unlike Mr. Ben. Oh, and I haven't written It says find the function. I haven't done that. So it's y equals negative 2x, right? Because we don't write negative 2x plus 0. Let's practice. All right, so there's our y-intercept, 0, negative 4. Our slope, all right, so you subtract your y's. All right, so negative 4 minus negative 5, 0 minus 1. So negative 4 minus negative 5 is negative 4 plus 5, which is 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So the slope of this is negative 1. So a slope of negative 1, y-intercept of that, it's y equals negative x minus 4. Right? It's the opposite of x minus 4. So it's the opposite of x minus 4. Negative 2 minus 4 equals negative 6. The opposite of 1 minus 4 equals negative 5. All right, we subtract our y's for the rise. We subtract our x's for the run. 5 minus 4 is 1. Negative 8 minus negative 4, same as negative 8 plus 4. Negative 4, this is a slope of negative 1/4. There's our y-intercept, so it's y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3. All right, so, 0, negative 3. And 3, 0 are the 2 points. So it goes through those, right? So that's the line. Let's look at it. So which one of those is the y-intercept? That one. That's the y-intercept. Y-intercepts start with 0, right? And the other one's the x-intercept. Now let's find the slope of this. So let's subtract our y's. Negative 3 minus 0, 0 minus 3. So we get negative 3 over negative 3, which is 1. The slope is 1. Yeah, over 1, up 1. That makes sense. So what's the equal? It's y equals 1x minus 3, but we don't write that. Y equals x minus 3. All right, good luck with the homework.